Hello and welcome to the Smithtonian's Handbell Christmas Concert 2020. I'm David Burrows, the musical director of the group. We are a community handbell ensemble founded in 1983 and based in Littleton, Colorado. Our mission is to delight and educate the public in the art of English handbell ringing. Our troubling times in 2020 inspired me one day to write Eliza and the Elf, a Christmas story, with musical accompaniment for handbells, harp, and vocal choir. It's about an elf who wanted to cover the world in a soft blanket of healing music while riding on Santa's sleigh, and it's about Eliza, a little girl living through this difficult 2020 era. I invite you to grab a cup of tea, coffee, or cocoa, maybe a snack, and settle in for 45 minutes of musical joy and messages of hope. Eliza and the Elf. Once there was an elf who was asleep in Santa's workshop on the North Pole. And Santa, from his study, where he was reading the letters of all the children of the world, could hear the elf snoring. Elf! The elf, whose name was Herbert, woke up and started wrapping the presents in front of him. All the other elves started laughing. Sorry, Santa, said Herbert. Whoa! Later that night, when all the elves were asleep, and Santa was busy dreaming of all the happiness he would bring to the children of the world, Herbert was wide awake, and under the light of a half-moon and so many stars that you could start to count them and never finish, Herbert was making a gift for all of the other elves, for Santa, and for the entire world. You see, Herbert wanted to sing a song of healing that would circle the whole earth on Christmas Eve. He wanted to cover the whole globe in a soft blanket of prayer. He worked through the night on his song, and before the moon had set in the starry sky, with the embers of the fire that kept him warm still glowing, he entered the land of dreams. The next day, no one could find Herbert. "Where is Herbert?" said Santa. "He wasn't at breakfast," said one elf. "I think he got up early and went snowshoeing," said another. "We haven't seen him all morning, Santa," said a third. Just then Herbert came into Santa's workshop, and all the other elves giggled when they saw him. "Herbert, how will we ever make all of these presents? You were always up falling asleep and late." "Sorry, Santa," said Herbert. Laughed Santa. Herbert sat down at his place in the workshop and began making toy cars and trucks. The head elf came over to check on Herbert's progress. "Herbert, you were supposed to make 222 toy cars and trucks per day," said Rosemary. "I know," said Herbert. "Well, Herbert, what should we do?" "You are very far behind," said Rosemary. "On the North Pole, you see, when a person misbehaves or makes a mistake or doesn't do their work, the person themselves decides what the consequences shall be. I think, Rosemary, I can work late into the night making toys and catch up," said Herbert. Little did Rosemary know Herbert had a secret motive. "Then so shall it be," Rosemary answered. Then Rosemary handed Herbert a key to Santa's workshop, so that after dinner, when all the elves were tucked into bed, he could keep making toys. What Rosemary didn't know is that Herbert wanted the key so he could be inside and warm and make hot cocoa. It was cold outside where he had been writing his song in secret night after night, and there were sweet treats and breads and drinks in Santa's workshop. Days and nights passed, with Herbert making toys and a song late into the night. Then, when Christmas Eve arrived, and as Santa and the reindeer and the elves were getting ready to take the great journey on the sleigh to surround the globe with love, something happened that only one very old elf named Alexander, who was even older than Santa, had ever seen before. Santa was crying in his study. Every living being on the North Pole turned their heads toward the sobbing sounds. The polar bears, the penguins, the Arctic fox, and the birds of the North Pole, like the snow bunting, the northern fulmar, and the black-legged kittiwaki, all stopped what they were doing and listened. The elves all gathered round Santa, and Santa read them the letter that had reached so deeply into his heart. "Dear Santa," the letter said, "I don't have any toys on my list this year. My father and Grandma died, and all I really want is for them to be alive. They died of the coronavirus. I hope all of the reindeer and the elves and you are all healthy and well. Love, Eliza Jane." Santa continued to talk to the elves, who listened with heavy hearts. "My dear elves, I have shielded you from the truth this year. This Christmas there is an illness like no other I have ever seen sweeping the earth. I have kept this from you, so as not to trouble you. But now the trouble in my heart is overflowing. There are other problems, too. There's racism, injustice, increased poverty, and homelessness." While Santa and the elves were grieving together for the world and for Eliza Jane, Herbert had slipped out of Santa's study. He ran to the hiding place of his little harp, which was wrapped and disguised as a Christmas gift, and with no one seeing except the reindeer, he placed it on the sleigh. Herbert was even more determined to sing the song of healing to circle the globe after hearing Santa's news. The reindeer were whispering among themselves. "What is Herbert up to?" said Dasher. "Pay no mind to him," Prancer replied. "Oh, that Herbert!" exclaimed Vixen. "Herbert!" Santa and all the elves were coming toward the sleigh. "Oh, the elf who was always late or sleeping is now early and ready to go." Though Santa was jolly, Herbert could see the sadness in Santa's face, like a soft shadow on a half-lit night. When the sleigh was all packed and everyone in their place, Santa gave the command to the reindeer, "On, Dasher! On, Dancer!" And up they went into the indigo night. 100 elves on the snowy ground, their feet a little cold, all cheered and waved and watched them disappear into the clouds. Now things were a little more quiet among the elves this year on the sleigh than usual. Santa was solemn as the sleigh was passing over Greenland. Herbert took a deep breath, gathered his courage, and began to sing his song. Ring the bells of healing, hum the song of love, strike the drum of justice, chant the sounds of hope. May our hearts keep singing all through this night, and the music ring till the dawn of light. Oh, I love this song so very much. Why, I think I heard it in a dream at night. Rosemary laughed and said, "Herbert's been working on it in the middle of the night, thinking we didn't know." Oh! Now it is a little-known fact that each elf has their own special bell, which they carry with them at all times, in their bell pockets, of course. And now the elves took them out and joined Herbert in his song, and their music covered the earth like a prayer. The people in their houses, hearing the song, sighed peacefully in their sleep. The night-blooming flowers, like the chocolate daisy, the queen of the night, and the evening primrose, all bloomed a little brighter when the sleigh, filled with the singing and the ringing of the bells, passed overhead. And these were the words and the melodies of Herbert's song.
Ring the bells of healing, hum the song of love, strike the drum of justice, chime the sounds of hope. May our hearts keep singing all through this night, and our music ring till the dawn of light.
We shall sing together, holding hands, joining hearts, and the world will gather with a fond new start. Hearts long separated shall be joined again, and with hugs awaited we'll embrace our friends. Knowing others as ourselves, we shall fully love our life, and with hearts that conquer the we shall reign on earth.
Let us face our fears and begin to heal. Learn to love all people and every race. Hearts all empathic bring harm no more. Hearts wholly open repair our world.
For those we've lost and those left to grieve, ring the bells of healing, strong the hope of peace. Outside benighted shall join again, and with hugs awaited embrace a friend.
We shall sing together, holding hands, joining hearts, and the world will gather with a fond new start. Hearts long separated shall be joined again, and with hugs awaited we'll embrace our friends. Knowing others as ourselves, we shall fully love this world, and with hearts that overflow, we shall reign justice reign, we shall reign on
Yes, that night on that Christmas Eve, Every living creature breathed a little easier under the spell of Herbert's healing song that wrapped itself like a warm blanket around the globe. And when Santa and the elves reached their very last house, the one Santa had saved for last, where Eliza lived, something happened again that even the oldest elf had never seen before. Before Santa had a chance to go down the chimney, a rooftop window creaked open, and out crawled a little girl. "Santa!" exclaimed the girl, Eliza Jane. "Oh, you must be Eliza Jane." "Yes," she replied. "Santa," she said, "I know you can't bring my father and Grandma back." "I'm so sorry, Eliza, that you lost them," said Santa. "Is there anything I could bring you, Eliza?" "Can I have the song the elves are singing?" "Why, yes, sing the song with us until you know it by heart, and there it will live inside you and be yours forever. For a song is not something I can give you, Eliza Jane. A song is who you are." The elves and Eliza began singing the song, and even the reindeer sang along. Eliza climbed up onto the sleigh next to Herbert, and the reindeer took everyone back up into the night sky, where they circled the moon on the sleigh, rejoicing, ringing their bells, and singing for what seemed like days, until Eliza sang herself to sleep. The next day, Eliza woke up in her bed, like she always did, and the first thing she did was to sing the song she had learned by heart with Santa, Herbert, and the elves. She didn't remember getting back to her room, and she was very sleepy, but a new kind of peace lived in her heart. She sang and sang that morning on Christmas Day, remembering everything, the reindeer, the elves, the chimes, the bells, and then she noticed on her nightstand a note. "I am giving you this song," it said. "May it live forever in your heart and comfort you in times of grief. For Eliza Jane, you are the song. Love, Herbert the Elf."
Happy holidays, everyone. My name is Maggie, and I have been playing with the Smithtonian Handbell Ensemble for 19 years, although I've had 40 years of experience. When I first started, it was in a small church. Now I have a piano background as well as clarinet, and I was given 2 bells to ring, and I had to find those notes on the paper. Oh my gosh, I couldn't do it. I had to actually color code the notes so that I could see where my notes fit into the piece. Thank goodness that didn't last too long. Today we're going to show you a little bit about how handbells are so active in playing. Basically, handbells are a percussion instrument, and there are about 25 plus ways to produce sound, and that difference in sound makes the difference in music. It allows emotion to come from the choir right into the audience. So let me just show you, first of all, the fact that these are each tuned to a particular note. They are made of bronze. They do need to be polished just like your good silver. The lowest bell the Smithtonians have is a C3, and I have to ring it with 2 hands. And the highest bell that we have is a C8, and it sounds like. And one of the main things that we can do with bells is use mallets. Different sizes mallets for different bells, and this is what the C3 sounds like, and their bass bell ringing. The other thing that we can do is create a little mystery, and that is by rolling. Another thing that we can do is hit the bell with the mallet on the table, or we can hit the bell on the bell and then lift it up and have the sound continue. Or another nice thing to do is to hit the bell in the air, and that makes a total different sound. See the difference? Some of the other techniques that we can do is called a Mart Lift. And I mean a Mart, which means you hit the bell on the table, and then a Mart Lift one of the really nifty sounds is called the singing bell. And if you can imagine having 4 or 5 or more bells producing this continuous sound, isn't that just lovely? One of the things that we like to do is called thumb damp. So here's a ring. Thumb damp is you actually put your thumb on the bell and you go. Speaking of that, sometimes we like to really get your attention with a lot of sound and sing. But how do you do that quietly? Let's say we're supposed to go from fortissimo to piano. This is how you do it. The other instrument that I have up here are called the chimes. And the chimes are made out of metal, and they are very, very good to teach children how to ring and read music. And basically there are 2 ways to ring a chime, is like that. And the other way is to vibrate by putting your finger there and vibrate. Some of the other bell techniques that we can do is called the wah-wah. Another one is swing. Another one, which is quite spectacular, is we ring the bell and over the head we go. So you can imagine with all of these different sounds that bells can do, that we can make all kind of character into the piece with the director's discretion. He can say, let's try this way or let's try that way. So you can make all kinds of interesting sounds for you, the audience, to enjoy. One of the newest techniques is using actually water. Now, each bell is tuned to a particular note. But say we want to make even more mystery for that sound. We're going to use a little bit different bell here. Okay? Now listen to this as I actually dip the bell into the water. Let me try that one more time so you can hear it even better. Isn't that quite interesting? I can just imagine having a bowl of water for each player and 13 players. That would be quite something to see. So in closing, I would just like to really welcome you to this video and hope that you're keeping safe and well. And we hope to see you personally in Christmas 2021. Have a wonderful, safe, and warm holiday.